Hey, what exactly do you think you're doing? I know you stole my money. Give it back to me right now. Yeah, give it back to Sophie. That's her allowance. What money? I don't know about any money. I shrugged as I walked toward my bed, ignoring Sophie's furious face. After that, I had to listen to Sophie throw more accusations at me. Blah, blah, blah. I know it was only because I was a tomboy, so surely if a girl chooses to have short hair and wear baggy clothes, then she must be a thief. Poof! Eventually, I reached my breaking point. Quit with the accusations. I didn't steal any money. I didn't even know you had money. I know you took it. If you don't return it to me this instant, then I'm gonna tell Miss Hopkins. Her idle threats didn't bother me, so I just flopped down on my bed and played on my phone. Talk about a heavy atmosphere. Ugh. Then I saw them all frantically checking their phones and giving each other confused looks. So I took an earpod out and heard a phone ringing from over by Sophie. Isn't that your new phone, Sophie? Why don't you pick it up? What? No! Sophie stuttered, while Bella and Carly stared at her, all confused. I walked over to Sophie's bed, lifted the pillow, and yep, there was a brand new iPhone 13 Pro Max. So, Sophie, if there's nothing wrong with your brand new phone, then why did you feel the need to hide it so badly and not answer my calls? She nervously chewed on her nails, then blurted out, Fine, I spent all my allowance on a new phone. I knew my parents would be livid that I spent it so quickly, so I thought it'd be easier to blame you, since you're new and look kinda intimidating. Nice. I stared at her. You could have, found someone dumber to mess with, as I already see right through you and your dirty schemes. But whatever. Girls, I'm sorry. She gave Bella and Carly pleading looks. Please forgive me. They both shook their heads and told her that she'd have to ask Miss Hopkins, the dormitory supervisor, for a room change, else they'd tell everyone what she did. So Sophie angrily packed, then moved out. When the room was Sophie-free, Carly and Bella apologized to me, then helped me tidy up my stuff. I smiled at them. No worries, it's cool. After that, they wouldn't quit complimenting my clothes and style, and how smart I was. This was flattering and all, but I kept my chill exterior. That weekend, the school took us out on some woodland activity day. Our teachers organized a treasure hunt and divided us into groups. I ended up with Carly, Bella, and these two other girls. The teacher handed Bella the map, and she held it up the wrong way. I think this map's broken. I chuckled, took it off her, then using the first clue we'd been given, I quickly found out that we needed to walk 100 steps east and find a tree by the lake. Turns out, all of the other clues were as easy peasy as the first one. And soon we'd finish the game. In first place. Everyone was gawping and clapping at me. Poof, it's just a piece of cake. We were on our way back to the dorm room when Carly sidled up to me and said, Hey Sam, you did great today. Oh, it's nothing. Puzzle games are my cup of tea. Hey, I have an idea. Let's form a detective team, as our school still has a few cases unsolved. That's a good idea. With the Sherlock Holmes minds of ours combined, nothing is impossible. Then the three of us looked at one another and laughed. I gave a nod in agreement. I mean, a detective agency sounded kind of fun. And that's how the CSI detective team was born. It stands for Caroline, Samantha, Isabel. Of course. At first, everyone laughed at us because they thought this group was nonsense. But then, the math exam was stolen, and through our expert investigation skills, we linked it to none other than Aubrey, the top student in the class. Hey, we even caught the creep who broke into the school to spy on the girls. And it was only a matter of time till everyone began to recognize our talents. One day, the three of us were standing at the locker when a series of message alarms rang out. It turns out that our school's confession page has a new post claiming that Liam, the most popular boy at school, was seducing, then defrauding numerous girls. They also posted some of the love notes Liam had slid into the girls' locker to manipulate them into giving him money. The message showed, I can't wait to take you on a special date.
but my debit card won't work. If you lend me yours, I'll make our date unbelievable. I promise. X.
OMG, this is unbelievable. At that moment, I felt a tap on my shoulder, and I turned around to see a sullen-looking Liam standing there.
Please, you've gotta help me. These are all false accusations. Please help me find out who did this.
And of course, all of us nodded immediately. No one would refuse to help a boy as cute as Liam. Oh, I mean, we're the school's famous detective team, so how can we ignore this? Right?
Yeah, right. I rolled my eyes. I didn't blame Carly for liking Liam. I mean, everyone likes him. I guess even I did. Bella then interrupted my daydreaming.
Come on, guys. Let's focus on our job. I think the person who did this must have some kind of grudge against Liam. Everyone agreed and started investigating, which led me to sneak into Liam's dorm and rifle through the bin. Bingo! I found a scrunched up piece of paper with the messages Liam had supposedly sent to his victims, scrawled in green ink. Then, who should just so happen to have green smudge on their hand but James, one of Liam's roommates. It turns out, James did this just because he was jealous of Liam's popularity. How petty. Well, this success certainly made the detective group more credible. We actually had our own fan base, and I was always overhearing other kids talking about us in a good way. Best of all, Liam was so grateful to us that he started hanging out with us more. We even went to the park with him one weekend, and he bought us all ice creams. Carly kept on flicking out her hair and giving him doe-eyed looks. While being the chilled girl I am, I kept it at a smile and a thanks. The only one who didn't seem impressed by Liam was Bella, who took the ice cream, forced a polite smile, then ignored him. Oh well, at least this meant one less competitor for his affection. One day, we were having lunch when we overheard the girls at the next table talking about how a girl saw a ghost in the old chemistry lab, and it scared her so badly, she refused to leave her bedroom for days. According to the others, the legend of this ghost had been around for a long time. Now, this sounded like a job for the CSI, but Bella immediately folded her arms and shook her head. No, I'm not going. There are no ghosts in this world. I firmly said, yep, so we have to go and clear this up. But no matter how much Carly and I tried to persuade her, she point-blank refused to go. Don't you know about the curse? If anyone goes looking for this ghost, they will be cursed and have bad luck for the rest of their lives.
Didn't you just say there are no ghosts in this world? So why does that dumb curse bother you?
Actually, I'm afraid of ghosts.
I looked at Bella and tried not to laugh. Okay, so you stay in the room. Then me and Carly went to discuss plans for the evening. We were hiding in the corner of the chemistry lab. Jeez, it was boring in here, and I was kinda hungry. I should have brought snacks. Suddenly, a cold wind blew past us. It made me all goose-pimply. Carly shook my arm and whispered,
Sam, let's go back to the dorm.
Shh! I heard something. Footsteps. Then I felt a touch on my shoulder. I looked at Carly. Then we both screamed and bolted for the door. Thud! We hit something and fell to the floor. I scrambled to get up and saw Carly with her eyes closed and praying.
Please, ghost! Please forgive us!
What are you doing here this late? I looked up. It turned out to be a frowning Miss Hopkins. Yep, we both ended up getting a week's worth of detention for sneaking around at this hour. Ugh. After Miss Hopkins gave us another lecture and escorted us back to our dorm, Bella looked at us from her bed and said,
I told you that you'd both end up cursed, didn't I?
I snorted. I mean, a curse was nonsense, right? But then weird things started happening to me and Carly. My history assignment disappeared 10 minutes before the deadline. Carly went to put her sports kit on and found it covered in mud stains. And our personal items kept on disappearing, then reappearing in weird places. Worse still, the rumor of the detective team being cursed spread very quickly. Enough was enough. I needed to investigate this so-called curse and get to the bottom of it. I told Bella and Carly what I planned to do, but they didn't seem convinced.
No! What if something bad happens? I'm never going back there! Sam, you shouldn't go there either.
Okay, chill. I won't do it. It's just an idea. Calm down. That's what I told them. But the thing is, I don't give up easily, and I needed to figure out what was going on. So that night, I snuck out of the room and went to the lab alone. The hallway leading to the lab was so dark and quiet that I could hear my own breathing. Then suddenly, I saw a dark figure standing in front of the lab door. I tiptoed over. Then I heard a voice.
Did anyone see you?
So ghosts can talk now? But wait, why is this voice so familiar? I shone my phone flashlight at it. Bella? And Liam? Bella startled.
Listen to me first. It's not what you're thinking.
Oh my God, had my friend been betraying me all this time? I immediately turned away and stormed off. Bella tried catching up with me to explain, but I didn't want to hear it. It was her all along. She'd played those sneaky tricks on Carly and me so we thought we were cursed and wouldn't go back to her and Liam's secret rendezvous place. Back in the room, I told Carly what had happened, and we decided to ignore Bella. That's what she deserved. One day, we were eating lunch when Bella came over. Both of us were about to leave, but Bella hurriedly said, "Please give me a chance to explain." There's no need to explain. We know what you did.
I know I messed up, but it's only because I'm afraid you guys will react like this, and I didn't want to lose our friendship.
I put down the tray and reluctantly sat down.
I've been dating Liam for a while, and we were going to go public, but then I could see that you both liked him, and I was worried you'd be mad at me, and our detective team would disband. God, you're such an idiot! Do you think we're that selfish?
So yeah, we have a bit of a crush on Liam, but if you told us you were dating him, we would have been cool with it. Hearing that, Bella looked embarrassed. Then she gave a reconciling smile. Then we all hugged each other and promised that from now on, there would be no more secrets between us. And of course, the CSI detective team is still active, and now even has a hot new boy member. Yep, you guessed it right. It's none other than Liam.
Hi, my name's Kat, which is short for Catherine, but only my mom calls me that. My dad's Indian, and my mom's American. They met back when he was working over here. Then they fell in love, got married, and had me. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and they split up before I was born. In India, when you marry, it's meant to be for life. But still, my parents got divorced, so the reason for that must have been really serious. So serious that till this day, I still don't know. Every time I asked about it, my parents would just ignore me and change the subject. Anyway, I've always lived with my mom, but my dad lives close by. Most kids from broken homes hate not having both parents around all the time, but this never bothered me. Don't get me wrong, I love my dad and all, but I guess I couldn't miss what I didn't know. Besides, I had far bigger problems to deal with. Okay, so don't laugh, hear me out. I'm a tomboy, a fact which my mom hates. Yep, I detest wearing skirts and dresses, or anything girly and sparkly. Yuck! Give me basketball shorts and a baggy t-shirt any day. Also, I don't understand why some girls spend ages doing their makeup. Why would I want to make myself look like some living doll just to impress people? Please. I didn't get on that well with other girls. I guess I just had nothing in common with them. I didn't care about shopping and watching rom-coms. Nope. I'd much rather be kicking a ball around or playing video games. My best friend's a boy called Harry, and I've known him for forever. He's the one who taught me how to ride a skateboard. Talk about an adrenaline buzz. Now I pretty much go everywhere on one. I'm like a real-life Bart Simpson. For my whole life, my mom's given me disapproving looks. From the time when I only invited boys to my 6th birthday party, tore the arms off the dolls she gave me, and point-blank refused to move when she booked me in for ballet classes. I just wasn't a tea time with dolls and teddy bears kind of girl, and I didn't understand why she couldn't just buy me trucks and action figures instead. Then on top of that,
Mom only dressed me up in skirts and dresses. I had no option but to wear them and endure school feeling so uncomfortable. I mean, have you tried playing soccer in a frilly dress? Talk about ridiculous. The other boys always had to wait for me to straighten out my skirt or try and find the hairpins that kept tumbling out of my hair. I mean, seriously, those things were so lame. By the time I reached 12, I was done wearing girly clothes just to please my mom, so I wore comfy, passed-down clothes that I got from my cousins beneath the hideous dresses and took them off en route to school. I was also so sick of my long, boring hair, so one day I snuck into the barber's after school and got an undercut. Then one evening, I was chilling on the couch when Mom pointed at my hair and in a horrified voice said, "Catherine, what have you done to yourself?" I hadn't realized the way I was lying meant some of my undercut was on show. I just shrugged and replied, "It's my hair, so I can do what I want with it." "Why would you want to make yourself look ugly?" she shouted. "It's not ugly. It's cool." My mom looked so shocked. She grounded me for a month, and during that time, she barely spoke to me. The quarreling didn't end there. Over the next few years, it seemed like every little thing I did annoyed her. From chewing on gum to refusing to wear a dress to my cousin's wedding, you name it, it made her mad. On loads of occasions, she shouted at me that she wished I was normal. I didn't get it. My friends and teachers didn't treat me like I was an alien. So why did my mom? One time, when I was about to leave and go and skateboard with Harry, she actually accused me of being a lesbian. I just rolled my eyes at this. For the record, I'm not. I've had crushes on boys before. Anyway, my dad was a lot more chilled than Mom. He's totally okay with me being a tomboy. One time, he even sent me a gift box with this really cool sports jersey and shorts in it. I stuck it in my wardrobe to hide it from Mom, but she still managed to find it and threw it all in the trash. As I questioned her why she did that, she replied, "If you want to live like a boy that much, you should move in with your dad." This made me so mad, so I packed a bag and went to Dad's place. He was bugged out by what my mom had done, but still, he told me I should forgive her and that I couldn't live here for good with him, as he couldn't be home all the time and take care of me like Mom did. Yeah, right. More like he knew Mom would never let this happen. It's like she hated me, but she still wanted me around so she had someone to moan at. I stayed with Dad for a few days until he had to go on a business trip. Then I had to reluctantly go home, though I was still kind of sulky at my mom. Then came the bombshell as I just arrived home. Mom sat me down and told me that she was dating some new guy called Max. Wow. I knew Mom and I weren't close, but I had no idea she'd been dating some new dude. "We're planning the wedding, and of course I want you to be my bridesmaid, but you'll have to wear a dress." What? She'd known the guy for 5 minutes, and now she was marrying him? "Yeah, whatever," I replied. My mom looked surprised. "That's all? You seriously have no problem with this?" I got up and walked upstairs to my room while saying, "Yeah, Mom, I'm okay with it. I support you doing what you like, not like you who always scolds me for my preferences." I could sense my mom being flustered without looking back. Ha! I'd won this round. So, Max moved in with his teenage daughter, Taylor, who's a year younger than me and goes to the same school. Talk about a Barbie. All she seems to be is a mass of shiny blonde hair and pink everything. Like, seriously, her rucksack, bed covers, curtains, even her phone's pink. But it's fine. Everyone has their own taste, so, whatever. Actually, it turns out that this new addition to the family wasn't as bad as I thought. Max is an okay guy who never looks down on me or comments on my tomboy ways. And about my mom, her focus towards me decreased. I was basically invisible to her, now she had Taylor around. You think I'd be mad jealous, huh? Actually, no. Not at all. I was glad of the peace. But then Mom started comparing me to that brat, saying how I should be more like her as we were both girls, but I acted like a little demon. What? Taylor was so pathetic. She screamed when she saw a roach in the kitchen and refused to get down from the worktop until it had been removed. Don't even get me started on how she acted like she couldn't reach the top shelves in the school's library, so other boys had to help her. Ugh, sickening.
Then things got heated when Taylor stormed into my room and asked me to come down for dinner. Well, I probably was playing my music too loudly to hear her knocking on my door, but still, she wasn't welcome here. Then she took a quick look around my room. Okay, I'm not exactly the most organized person, but I know exactly where things are. I asked her, "What are you gawping at?" "Nothing," she bluffed. "Hey, why don't we go to the mall tomorrow? Let's go buy something cute. I need new clothes, and looks like you could use some help too." "I'm good, thanks. Crop tops aren't really my style. I'm not that much of a tryhard." I smirked at her. "Oh, please. You wish you were like me. Look at yourself. You have the sense of fashion of a 5-year-old boy. That's so childish. Who wears cargo pants anymore? Beats being a flamboyant ugly duckling who hides behind a zillion layers of pink glitter and foundation. Well, at least this ugly duckling will soon become a swan. But you're stuck being a nobody forever. No wonder Mom hates you." I stared at her with hatred. Who was she to judge me in my own house? I needed to teach this brat a lesson. I charged towards her and yanked back her hair. She yelled at me to stop. Then at that moment, my mother appeared and shouted at me, "Catherine, stop this at once! You need to grow up." "Me?" I shouted back. "She just told me you don't love me." "Well, she has a point. No one could love someone who acts like this. Look in the mirror. Taylor only said what we're all thinking. You're 17 already, for God's sakes. Grow up a little and give me a break." What was Mom saying? She was taking the side of some random girl that only just moved in over her actual daughter? Great. There's zero use fighting with these close-minded morons. I let go of Taylor and pushed her and my mom out of my room, screaming at them, "Fine! You two go and live happily ever after in your pink, fake, girly world." Then I slammed the door in their dumb faces. I was so done with them. I was so done with everything. Hey, it's me, Kat. I'm back to fill you in on the next part of my drama-filled life. So, me and my mom have never got on that well. She hates my tomboy ways and wishes I was a girl. So when her new fiancé Max moved in with his Barbie doll daughter Taylor, well, my mom instantly loved her more than me. During an argument, she even told me that she couldn't love someone like me and that I should grow up. How could my mom say that to my face? And especially in front of that little brat Taylor. I was so angry that I shut myself in my room that night and skipped dinner. But then, around 3 a.m., my stomach wouldn't quit growling, so I snuck down to the kitchen, and surprise, surprise, there was no leftover food for me at all. Great. Clearly, they didn't view me as a part of this family anymore, and wanted me to starve to death. I couldn't fall back asleep after that. So as soon as the sun came up, I called my best friend Harry up early. He answered the phone half asleep. "What?" I told him to rise and shine, as I needed saving from my nightmare of a home life. Oh, and I also told him to bring food. He muttered out "Yeah, fine." At least leaving early meant I wouldn't have to face Mom and Taylor. As soon as I got into Harry's car, he threw me a sandwich and asked what was wrong. And I told him how Taylor's basically Nightmare Barbie. He grinned at me. "Yeah? What'd she do? Steal all your food?" Trust him to make a joke out of my distress. Anyways, I told him everything that had happened while munching on the sandwich. He replied, "Come on, Kat. Like you're gonna let some 16-year-old get the better of you? How about I come over after school and suss out the situation? I'll fight off this kid for you." I jokingly replied, "Okay, I guess that might help keep the peace, as for some reason my mom seems to like you." So Harry came around, and naturally, my mom was all over him, telling him how handsome he is and demanding he stay for dinner. Talk about cringe. Then I had to listen to Mom telling him how she didn't understand me and how he should talk some sense into me. Hello? I was still in the room. Then Taylor arrived home all shiny-haired and girly. I swear my mom's face lit up just by seeing her. And worse still, so did Harry's. Ugh! Oh, Harry, have you met Taylor? Kat's sister. She goes to the same school as you guys. "Hi, Taylor. I've definitely seen you around, but I didn't know you were Kat's sister. She wouldn't tell me." He elbowed me while being all smiley to her. In that whiny voice of hers, Taylor replied, "Nice to meet you, Harry. Are you Kat's boyfriend? We all burst out laughing. Then my mom chimed in. Honey, I wish, but no. Your sister seems to be allergic to love. But you two would make a lovely couple. What on earth? They both laughed, and Harry replied,
I'd love to, but such a pretty girl like Taylor wouldn't lay an eye on me.
Great. Thanks, Harry. As if Taylor isn't big-headed enough. I slyly kicked Harry's leg and gave him a dirty look. After dinner, me and Harry went to play video games in my room. As soon as I closed the door, he told me that Taylor seemed all right. Was he blinded by her Barbie looks or something? I was so mad that I slammed down my game's controller and told him he sucked. Ugh! Why did everyone treat me like such a joke? So, what if I didn't dress up girly? I still had feelings. They knew nothing about me. I actually had a huge crush on this boy at school called Garrett. He was on the boys' soccer team, and he was so talented. I totally swooned out loud when he scored 3 goals in a row. I usually didn't like jocks. As a member of the girls' soccer team, our teams often trained together, and I had to put up with them showing off to impress girls, while in reality, they couldn't actually play, and they skipped practice all the time to go partying. Garrett was different. He totally shined amongst those useless guys. I took the initiative to talk to him. Turns out, Garrett and I had loads in common. We instantly clicked and talked non-stop about soccer, skateboarding, and other stuff. Okay, so there was one problem. He seemed to be interested in the cheerleader type of girl. Once he even admitted his celebrity crush was Selena Gomez. Yeah, I know. She's as girly as you can get. That got me thinking a lot. I definitely wouldn't change who I was, but maybe a little makeover wouldn't hurt, right? I told Harry about it, and he just told me it was stupid, and he wasn't really supportive, which was strange for him, but whatever. So Harry worked evenings and weekends at the burger joint in the mall. I knew it was just so he could check out the girls going into the clothes shop opposite. I knew if I was going to win Garrett's heart, then I'd need to change my style, so I started visiting Harry more often at work. I'd sit there munching on free fries while watching the girly girls shop, so I could get the gist of the in trends and stuff. Then I stole my mom's lip gloss and some glittery eyeshadow and put it on for school. I even started wearing this plaid purple skirt Mom bought for me. I mean, at least it was sort of edgy, right? Though I had nothing other than my collection of oversized tees to go with it, but whatever. It was girly enough. OMG. Wearing a skirt is hard work. I couldn't run as fast or jump up to grab something off the top shelf. I also kept on forgetting I was wearing a skirt and sitting with my legs apart. Oops. My plan was working though, as Garrett started sitting with me and Harry at lunch. Oh, and one time when I was struggling to run in a skirt, he passed me his jacket to tie around my waist. It gets even better. He invited me to his soccer team party. OMG! Talk about hitting the jackpot. This meant he liked me, right? That was it. I decided that the party will be my grand finale. I'd get a total makeover and confess my feelings to him while there. Finally, the day of the party arrived, so I put my awesome plan into action. Okay, so Mom's lousy makeup just wasn't cutting it, so I went into the drugstore and used up the testers. I even packed a pair of Mom's high heels with me. Now all I needed was a dress. Obviously, I wasn't going to buy one for keeps. No, I'd wear them for the party and return it the next day. All of my spying taught me one thing. Floral print was the in thing right now. So I bought this flowy floral dress in my size and went to the mall restrooms to try it on, so I had more privacy. I put the high heels on and zipped up the dress, but it seemed a little tight. Jeez, talk about tiring. I could barely reach the zipper on my back. After, 5 minutes of struggling, I was impatient and used up all of my force to pull it up. Done. Finally! But, my hair was stuck in between the zipper! Ugh, stupid long hair. I began to panic. I was completely stuck. Harry was on shift in the burger joint, so I sent him an emergency message. He sent me 5 crying with laughter emojis back, but he also said he'd be straight over. I couldn't expect him to come into the girls' restrooms, so I had to try and walk out into the mall foyer. My hair was stuck, so I had my face up to the sky, and every step was shaky due to the high heels. My 2 arms went straight out to navigate since I couldn't properly see the way. I must have looked like a zombie. People were whispering and laughing. It flustered me, and I tripped. The laughters were even louder now, and I couldn't even get up. I laid there in a weird position, feeling so helpless as anger and embarrassment filled me up. Thank God I heard a familiar voice.
Cat? Are you okay?
Harry to the rescue. Finally! He shooed everyone away, took the heels off my feet, and helped me get up. Then he said,
Oh my God, Cat. What have you done? Seriously, why are you making a fool of yourself just because of some jock? You've lost yourself, Cat.
He kept on grumbling as he tried to fix the zipper. Great, as if I wasn't already miserable enough. He was treating me just like my mom did. I was so angry, I pushed him out of my way as soon as he was done with the zipper, then stomped off. I was so mad. I washed all of the makeup off my face, changed back to my normal clothes, and went home. No more party or whatever. I was done. As soon as I reached home, I ran straight to my room and saw a brand new dress on my bed. What? I never wanted to see one of those evil things again. I grabbed the dress and stormed downstairs and started screaming at Mom. I won't wear this. I hate it. I will never be like Little Miss Perfect Taylor, so please stop. I expected Mom to yell back, but to my surprise, she didn't. She told me that Harry had messaged her telling her what had happened. Oh my God, Harry, you snitch! I pulled out my phone and was about to dial the number to yell at him. Mom stopped me and continued. He's worried about you, honey, so he asked me to help you out. I saw this dress in a shop the other day and bought it for you to wear to my wedding, but I think today is a special occasion too. Put it on and go tell that boy you like him. Mom hugged me. Wow, talk about an emotional roller coaster. I was so touched and embarrassed about my thoughts and actions, so I agreed to let Mom help me curl my hair and apply my makeup, and I wore the dress she bought. I actually looked pretty cute, not gonna lie. She looked so happy and wished me good luck as I walked out of the house in ballet pumps, not high heels. Those things are evil. The party wasn't till later, so I texted Garrett and told him to meet me at the coffee shop around the corner. Everything was set. There's only one last step left. Hey, Kat here again. Are you ready for the next part of my story? If you haven't seen the first two parts, then what are you doing? Go and watch them right now. But if you have seen them, do you remember what happened to me? I'm a tomboy, a fact which my mom hates. Then her fiancé Max moved in with his girly daughter Taylor, and Mom clearly favored her over me. If this wasn't enough to deal with, I was then in an embarrassing situation at the mall while trying to be girly to impress this cute guy called Garrett who's into girly girls. So after the rescue of my best friend Harry and some help getting ready from my mom, I arranged to meet Garrett at the coffee shop so I could tell him exactly how I felt about him before his soccer team party. As I walked up the street to meet Garrett, I felt so happy. I'm sure it would be a surprise for him to see me dressed all girly, and he'd be into it. Then we'd kiss. Wow, that sounds great. I was the first one there, so I grabbed a hot chocolate and waited. Geez, that 5-minute wait felt like 5 years. Then he strolled through the door looking so casual but cute. He looked me up and down and then said,
Kat, you do know the party later is just a casual hangout?
I kept my cool as I replied, Oh, this old dress? It's just something I threw on in a hurry. He ordered a drink, and we talked for a bit. I knew it was the only chance, either now or never, so I just came out with it. Look, Garrett, I think you're cool. Really cool, in fact. I have a crush on you. No, I think I like you a lot. He looked a little flustered, but surely this was totally normal, as he was just digesting my words, right? After a few minutes of silence, he gave me an awkward look as he said,
Kat, I think you're great, but you're not my type. I just see you as one of the boys.
I'm not his type? And he just sees me as a boy? I sat there completely heartbroken. Each word he said felt like a sharp knife stabbing into my little heart. I immediately stood up and asked him, What, you don't think I'm a girl? I'm in a dress, for goodness sake. If I'm not girly enough for you, then who is? He seemed a bit confused by my question,
then reluctantly replied, I'm into gentle girls who need me to protect. Like Taylor, for example. She's your sister, right? Could you help me and Taylor become a couple?
What? Not only did he have the cheek to publicly reject me, but now he was admitting to me that he liked that Barbie doll? I yelled at him. You have to be kidding me. Out of all the girls in the world, you like Taylor? Then I stormed out of there, relieved that I'd worn ballet pumps over evil high heels. I arrived home to the smell of freshly baked scones. Then I saw my mom and Taylor baking together in the kitchen. I wasn't in the mood for cooking with Barbie hour, so I slammed the door shut and stomped up to my room. My mom appeared and shouted up the stairs to me, "Hey, honey, how was your date? Why are you back so early?" Seriously, it was pretty clear from my door slamming that it hadn't gone well. Why did she feel the need to humiliate me in front of Taylor, of all people? Get real, Mom. I'm clearly upset. But then, what do you know? You only care about your shiny new daughter, Taylor. I ran into my room to change out of that damn dress I was wearing. Then I threw it down the stairs at her and yelled out, "It's your dress, so take it back, and play dress-ups with her instead." My mom looked hurt, and at first, I felt a little bad. But then she shouted back, "Why can't you just act like a normal girl and grow up? If you stopped being so selfish and made an effort with your appearance, your date might have gone better." Then Taylor continued, "Don't be too much for Mom. She means well. If that boy doesn't like you, then that's your issue, not hers." What the hell? How dare this nobody blame me? And why was she calling my mom Mom? I didn't call Max Dad. Ugh, she was the worst person in the world. I hated her. I wanted her to go back to Barbie Land and never come back. I stormed out of the house and took the bus to my dad's house. I tried to hold back my emotions so that I wouldn't burst into tears, but honestly, I had nothing. Garrett had brutally rejected me in favor of Taylor. I was still in a mood with Harry, and Mom had made it clear I was an embarrassment to her. The worst part was Harry had been right. I had lost myself. I was not myself anymore. I showed up at Dad's, and as soon as he opened the door, I burst into tears and hugged him. I told him everything and begged him to let me live with him. Dad tried to analyze everything for me. After a while, I calmed down and realized that, okay, maybe I was a bit sassy with Mom. Then Dad said, "Actually, Kat, there's something I wanted to tell you. I really still love your mom and want you to help me get back with her." Whoa, I wasn't expecting that, but I was totally down for helping him. Goodbye to Barbie Taylor and hello to a proper family. Dad allowed me to stay for the night to let the tension between Mom and me calm down. His apartment was on the small side, so I had to sleep on the couch. But I didn't mind, as it meant I could stay up watching movies all night without Mom moaning at me that I needed my beauty sleep. I arrived home the next day to Mom and Max cleaning the house together. They were laughing and joking around and, yeah, okay, they looked really happy together. But Dad deserved this happiness more, right? I greeted both of them, but only Max replied. My mother ignored me like I was invisible. She must have still been mad at me. So all this tension wasn't a part of my get Dad back with Mom plan. So before I left for school, I walked up to Mom, said sorry, then kissed her on the cheek. Cheesy, but worth it. Then, as I was rummaging through my locker at school, I felt someone pat me on the shoulder. I turned around to see that it was Harry. "Kat, I'm sorry," he said. I turned around and continued to look through my locker. I'd forgiven him already, but I wanted to make him sweat a bit first. "Come on, Kat. I won't be able to study if I know you're mad at me, and my grades will suffer." I laughed and said, "Take me out for ice cream after school, and I may consider forgiving you." "I think I can manage that." He smiled at me. After school, we went to the ice cream shop nearby. My mood was so good, and I told Harry all about my plan to get Dad back with Mom. He wasn't so sure about it, but regardless of this, he promised to have my back. So, I had an ally, and the plan to heal my parents' feelings officially began. First, I invited Dad over for dinner. Mom wasn't overly impressed, but she couldn't say no. After all, he was my dad. During the meal, I went on about past stories, such as the time we all went on vacation together for my 7th birthday, and Dad lost his swimming trunks in the sea. My parents and Max just laughed, but
I could make out the annoyed look on Taylor's face. After the meal, we watched TV together, and Taylor volunteered to make drinks for everyone. Then she brought out 5 glasses of orange juice. Dad took a large sip of his, then immediately spit it out all over his clothes and rushed to the toilet. Turns out she'd put mustard in my dad's glass, but neither Max nor Mom said anything about it. Damn little Taylor. Then one night, when I knew that Mom and Max were going on a private date, I deliberately hid Max's key. By the time they found them in the plant pot 2 hours later, they'd missed their time slot. Talk about success. Another day, my mom suggested going on a picnic, so I immediately called Harry and my dad and invited them to join. Then, while we were in the park waiting for Harry to show up, I saw Garrett walking over, hand in hand, with Taylor. Talk about awkward. Garrett couldn't even meet my eye, and I just wanted the ground to swallow me up. Mom asked them how long they'd been together. She said 2 weeks, so I did the math. OMG. That meant they got together on the day I confessed my feelings towards him. Whatever. I was so over Garrett. Although I have to admit, I was relieved when I saw Harry walking over with a basket full of my favorite foods. Taylor kept asking Garrett to feed her. Ew. It was so awkward. When Harry saw me staring at the couple with bullet-like eyes, he so quickly passed me a slice of chocolate cake. A while later, I asked Harry to help me take some photos. Then I quickly dragged Dad and Mom to take family pictures. I could see Dad was enjoying standing next to her, and I heard him tell her that she looked beautiful. Good one, Dad. Only Taylor wasn't having any of it. She immediately led Max over and pushed me out of the way so he could stand next to Mom. I stood next to Taylor, and before Harry counted to 3, I flipped Taylor's hair and deliberately stood over her. She glared at me. But I'm on top of the world, sucker! Anyway, I felt so good after that picnic, and I even thought that the day when Dad returned home would be soon. But a few days later during dinner, Mom and Max went on about what starters they wanted at their wedding. What? She still wanted to marry Max? So what about my dad? I immediately showed my annoyance, skipped my half-eaten meal, and stormed up to my room. I sat in my room, looked back at the picnic photos, and thought about my next plan. Then, I heard a knock on the door. It was Max. "Kat, I have something important to tell you," he said with a sad voice. Uh-oh, this couldn't be good. Could it? Hey, Kat here. Again. I hope you're not bored of me yet. As if. Anyway, here's a recap of the last part of my story so far. In the last episode, I confessed my feelings to my crush, Garrett, but he rejected me because I was not girly enough for him. To make it even worse, he said he liked Taylor and wanted me to help them become a couple. I couldn't believe it. I was so furious that I argued with my mom. Then I came to my dad's house, and that's when my dad asked me to help him get back with Mom. Apparently, I jumped at the chance and immediately put my healing family relationships plan into action. But suddenly, Max said that he wanted to tell me something important. So, okay, he led me out to the garden. I followed him and kept wondering what he wanted to talk to me about. Did he know I wanted to split him and my mom up, and he was going to scold me for it? No way! As soon as we sat down, I asked him immediately, "What's the matter?" He just smiled. "I wanted to chat with you, so that we could understand each other better." I gave him a doubtful look. Why did he suddenly care about me? Jeez, this was so awkward. Then Max said, "Kat, I know that you want your parents to get back together." He hesitated a bit, then continued, "I don't dare to say that I'm better than your dad, but, we are all from broken families, and I just want to give you, your mom, and Taylor a happy home life. So, I hope that you'll accept me and give me a chance." I didn't know how to reply to him. Okay, so I knew that Max truly loved my mom, as he always looked at her affectionately. But what about my dad? He was miserable without Mom, and if given the chance, he would definitely make us happy. As for Max, I was sure he'd have no trouble finding someone else. Okay, so I might have said Max was kind, but the reality was he wasn't right for Mom, but my dad was. I mean, they had history, and they had me. The wedding day loomed closer, and Mum and Max grew even soppier together. I wanted to cancel the wedding, but it seemed impossible. But then I realized something. Maybe I could somehow delay it? I had thought seriously for a few days. Then I came up with an idea. I would pretend to break my leg. If I couldn't come to the wedding, my mom had to postpone it, right? OMG! I was absolutely a genius. I immediately messaged Harry and told him about my bright idea for my Get Dad Back with Mom plan. Naturally, he replied I was bonkers, but he agreed to help me. He even told me how that could work, as his cousin was a doctor and he would definitely help us. Awesome! However, to make this plan work, first of all, I had to appear helpful so Mum wouldn't suss me out. So I kept asking her about the wedding preparations and said that she could tell me if she needed help. At first, she was quite surprised, but then she looked so happy and satisfied. Maybe Mum thought that her beloved daughter had finally grown up. That day, after school, I put the plan into action. Of course, with the help of Harry's doctor cousin. His cousin was really helpful. After bandaging my leg, he even gave me advice on how to walk, like I had really broken it. Then Harry took me home. When seeing me, my mom was totally terrified. She kept asking us what had happened. Harry lied that during a game of soccer, I'd tried to steal the ball and fallen awkwardly on my leg. I hadn't wanted to worry them, so he'd taken me to his cousin's clinic. I'd fractured it, and it would take me about 4 weeks to recover. His story was so real that I almost believed it myself. He was absolutely the best comrade in my life. After that, Mom spent more time taking care of me and wasn't as strict as before. Honestly, it was great. However, I really missed practice, and lying on my bed all day wasn't as fun as it sounded. My bedroom was on the 2nd floor, so my mom always brought me food so that I didn't need to go downstairs. One day, after lunch, I was so bored that I decided to go over to my desk to pick up my laptop and play some music. While I was standing and swinging to the rhythm, my mom came in with a plate of fruit in her hand. I was so surprised, but I immediately leaned on the desk and said, She rushed to help me and asked what I was doing. In my most pitiful voice, I said, Mom, I wanted to practice walking for your big day, but my leg just hurts so much, and I'm not sure I'll be able to cope with the wedding. She stroked my hair and said, It's okay, honey. Harry will come with you to the wedding and help you out. I leaned on her and sobbed. I can't do it. You see, Taylor will look like a princess, and I'll look like an Egyptian mummy. I wish there was some way the wedding could be delayed for a bit. My voice was smaller, and my eyes filled with false tears. Oh my God, forget soccer. I needed to join the drama club. The next day, she came into my room with Max, and she told me that they had some big news. We can't contemplate getting married without you there, so we've decided to postpone the wedding until your leg is better. OMG. I'm a genius! But I tried not to look too excited. As soon as they left my room, I messaged Dad and told him the amazing news. Then I told him that I'd given him more time, but he needed to up his game. After that, Dad dropped in all the time, with the excuse that he wanted to check on me. But the problem was that Max was always around, so Dad couldn't have any private time with Mom. Cue the next step of my plan. I told my mom that I wanted to move down to Taylor's bedroom as her room was on the 1st floor, so I could walk around the house and get some fresh air. She agreed Taylor and I could switch rooms. But I begged again. No way! Taylor stole my crush, and now she's gonna live in my room? It's too much to even think about. Why don't you tell Max and Taylor to move out for a while? At least until my leg's better. Whenever I see Taylor running and dancing around, it bugs me out. She's so insensitive. Mom looked flustered, but she tried to keep calm and persuaded me to exchange the room with Taylor, just until my leg was better. At that point, Max came in. Turns out, he'd overheard our conversation. He turned to her and said, Mary, I think Taylor and I should go and stay with my parents for a while. Then, when Kat's all healed up, we can come back. Mom's eyes filled up with tears, and I did feel a little bad, but when I saw him kiss her on the top of the head, I just felt annoyed. Mom belonged with Dad, not him.
That night, while I was lying on the bed and texting Harry, Taylor stormed in looking furious. I took my eyes off the phone, smirked, and said, "Oh, it's nice of you to take time out of packing to visit me." She yelled at me, "Stop being so selfish and stop this! Because of you, the wedding has been delayed, and now you're kicking us out? Newsflash, this is my home too, Kat. The world doesn't just revolve around you." I stared at her. OMG, why couldn't she just shut up and leave already? I told her, "You can stay here, but first, you need to break up with Garrett." She was furious and ran out without saying anything. Finally, Max and Taylor moved out. Plus, Harry told me that Taylor had broken up with Garrett. Oh my god, that feeble girl was so docile. Life was pretty awesome, but I couldn't wait to lose that itchy bandage. Dad popped by loads to take care of me. He even brought some cherry cakes and tulips, my mom's favorites for her. I felt like after all these storms, my family were finally reunited. Then, after a whole agonizing month, it was time for the bandage to go. Of course, I couldn't go to the clinic with my mom, so I came up with some excuse that I wanted to eat her clam soup when I got back. It worked, as she called Harry to go with me. When the bandage was removed, I cheered, and Harry laughed at me. "I hope it was worth it, Kat," he said. "It totally was." I winked at him. I arrived home expecting Mom to greet me excitedly, but she wasn't in the kitchen. I heard voices coming from upstairs, so I stealthily put my ear against the door and heard Mom's voice. "We're over, Satya! How can you beg for me back after what you did?" Then I heard Dad reply,
"I'm so sorry. It was all my fault. I should never have forced you to have an abortion just because the baby was a girl. But you know the pressures of having a son in India. Moreover, then there were your complications. You had one chance at having a baby. That's why I thought holding out for a son would be better. But that was the past. I've changed now. I love you and our daughter, and I just want to take care of you both."
"Oh, please. You only support Kat dressing like a boy because you want her to be a boy. Please, stop bothering us and leave us alone." What? Turns out, Dad had never truly supported me. He just wanted to have a son? He was the one who didn't want me to exist in the world. All along, he was the villain, not Mom. I felt disgusted. I slumped in front of the door and couldn't believe what I was hearing. It felt like my whole life had been one big stinking lie. Hey, Kat here. I don't want to alarm you or anything, but this is the final part of my story. I hope you'll enjoy it. And here's a reminder of what's happened in the last part. You remember, my dad told me surprising news that he wanted to get back with Mom, and he needed my help, don't you? Of course, I jumped at the chance and immediately put my healing family relationships plan into action. I knew I had to somehow delay Mom's wedding to Max, so I pretended to break my leg. My plan was totally working, as not only did they postpone the wedding, but Max and Taylor moved out to give me time to heal. I was very satisfied because everything was going as I planned, when suddenly, right on the day I had the bandage removed, I arrived home to hear the awful truth that shocked me to my core. My dad didn't want me to exist in the world because I was a girl. As soul-destroying as it was, I continued to listen to Mom and Dad's conversation. I heard Mom say, "I will never forgive you and never forget the moment you wanted me to get an abortion. Never! So don't think I will ever let you come back to this family." Dad replied,
"Mary, please, I beg you."
I'd heard enough, so I ran into my room. It all made sense now. No wonder Dad supported my tomboy style, because he desperately wanted a boy. As for my mom, she tried to make me dress up like a girl to get revenge on him. Feeling unwanted and unloved, I packed some clothes and quietly left the house. Normally, when I was upset, I would run to my dad's, but that option was out, obviously, so where could I go? Then I thought about Harry, so I called him to pick me up, and I just told him that I felt really bad right now and wanted to run away from home. Without knowing what the exact problem was, he showed up and drove us to the beach.
He bought us loads of snacks, and we sat there in silence and watched the sun go down. Then Harry turned to me and said, "Are you ready to talk about it now?" I sighed, ate a handful of Cheetos, then told him everything. I still can't believe it. My dad, the person I love the most, didn't want me at all. Then my mom just used me to make him suffer. Talk about exhausting. It's best if I disappear from their lives. It's not like I'm wanted here anyway. Harry listened. He looked shocked, but he didn't interrupt me. Then he patted me on the back and pulled me in for a big hug. It was weird because we never usually showed each other that kind of affection, but it didn't feel strange at all. Instead, I felt safe next to him. At this vulnerable moment, he's the only person I still trusted. After a long silence, Harry turned to me and said, Who said you aren't wanted? I'm happy that you were born. I mean, meeting you is the best thing that ever happened to me. I've never met someone like you before. Kat, you're a brave and an amazing girl." My heart skipped a beat, and I felt my face turn bright red. I never knew that Harry thought of me like that. Then he touched my hand and said, "And there's something you should know. I really..." Oh my god. I didn't know why my heart was beating so fast. What's he gonna say? But then, his phone rang. It was my mom. She'd been looking for me for hours and was worried sick. When Harry told her I was with him and I was fine, she sounded so relieved. I'm not a blubber. I cried and couldn't stop. I let Harry tell her where we were. When Mom arrived, she rushed over and hugged me. "Why didn't you tell me you were at the beach? I was so worried. Honey, don't you ever do that to me again." I hugged her and cried so loud, I didn't really know why I cried. Maybe because it was the first time we've ever properly hugged, and I could feel her love towards me. After we finally stopped crying, and trust me, it took a while, I told her that I knew the reason why she'd divorced Dad. She wiped off tears on my face and said, "Oh, sweetie, I kind of guessed you must have heard us fighting earlier. I'm so sorry about that. And now you know the reason why I was always so strict on you and wanted you to dress like a girl, to show your dad how amazing it is to have a daughter. But instead, you dress and behave like a boy, just like your father wanted. But Mom, you have to understand that I dress and behave like this because it's who I am. It's not because of Dad, not because of Harry, not because of anyone. If I change, it would mean that I don't live as my true self anymore. So, can you please let me be me, Mom?" My mom smiled at me and replied, "Oh, of course, sweetie. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. It was so selfish of me. I was so focused on going against your father that I forgot about your feelings. Can you ever forgive me?" "Of course, Mom." And then we cried again. Since then, things with my mom have improved a lot, but there was still some unfinished business I had to handle. Firstly, I had to swallow my pride and apologize to Max and Taylor. Harry came with me for moral support. We all sat down, and I apologized for being a childish brat. "You're a good man, Max, and my mom truly loves you. I would be grateful if you and Taylor would be a part of this family. Can you two please come back?" I said. He looked shocked for a moment, but then he smiled at me and said, "With pleasure. I miss your mom so much, it's driving me crazy." "Yep, he's been so miserable without her," Taylor added. "I'm sorry to you too, Taylor. Do you need some help with packing?" I asked her. Taylor smiled at me and replied, "Sure, that'd be great." So, Mom and Max had a small ceremony in the end, although I still ended up wearing a dress, but hey, it was an exception for Mom's special day. It was a beautiful ceremony, and Mom looked amazing. Next, I had to make Taylor and Garrett get back together. I went to see Garrett at school and told him that it was all my fault Taylor broke up with him. He looked quite shocked, but at the same time, he was also happy to hear me say that. Well, that was such a relief. I felt much better now, knowing that I cleared up all misunderstandings between them. Then, when I was having lunch with Taylor in the cafeteria, he walked over with this enormous bouquet of roses, passed them to her, and asked her to be his girlfriend again. Taylor looked so surprised, but then she gave me a worried look. I smiled and said, It's okay. You two are meant for each other. She was so happy she hugged me. I guess it was good to see her happy. And last but not least, I had to finish off the beach conversation with Harry. Obviously, I couldn't let that slide that easily. I've been thinking about it a lot, wondering what could it possibly be. Geez, why does it feel like my whole body is heating up every time I think back to that moment? I asked him to come to the beach, where I prepared a blanket on the sand with 2 cans of Coke and a huge pizza. His face lit up when he saw the setup. We had an awesome time and didn't stop laughing, even when Harry teased me by reminding me how I'd worn a dress to impress Garrett. I looked Harry in the eyes and said, "Thanks. Thanks for always having my back when I needed. And, meeting you is also the greatest thing that ever happened to me. You're the only one who accepts me for who I am." He touched my hand and said, "Kat, last time, I wanted to tell you something. I really like you, and I want us to be more than friends. Will you be my girlfriend?" Oh my God, this was crazy. Suddenly, I felt so shy, so I gently punched his arm and turned away, looking elsewhere so he couldn't see I was blushing like a tomato. Then I said, "Okay, fine, but it's just because I pity you." He laughed and hugged me. It felt so good being in his arms. Life was pretty great. Finally, but there was just one last issue to resolve. My dad. I went round to his place and we had a super long talk. He admitted he messed up and apologized for what he'd done in the past and for trying to get me to split Mom and Max up. He told me that it didn't matter if I was a boy or not. He will always love me and is very proud of me. So, as you can see, it's been a whirlwind, but it all worked out in the end. I have the best boyfriend ever and an amazing family. I've been through a lot, but all I'm gonna say is never change who you are just to fit into the norm or to please anyone. Be yourself and the right people will love the real you. If they can't accept you for who you are, then they're just not worth.
Just another day, looking for the perfect shade to complete my next graffiti masterpiece. I was about to grab a can of Midnight Blue when I spotted them. 2 sketchy dudes, pocketing cans of paint like it was casual Friday at the shoplifting Olympics. Their friend, though, a posh-looking guy, completely clueless. He was standing there like he had no idea his so-called buddies were treating the store like an all-you-can-steal buffet. Not my problem, but... The sketchy duo strolled to the register, acting like they were just innocent customers. The second they stepped through the security scanner, beep, beep, beep. What? What's happening? I didn't take anything. His friends? Gone. Vanished into thin air. You! Empty your pockets! Poor dude looked like he was about to pass out. I could practically see the, "Am I about to be arrested?" thoughts racing through his fancy little head. Again, not my problem. Except, I let out an overly dramatic sigh, turned on my heel, and skated out of the store. I found them in the alleyway, laughing their asses off with their bag full of stolen paints. Time for some justice. Finn style. "Hey, dumbasses!" Huh? Before they could react, I swung my skateboard. Whack! One went down instantly. The other tried to run, but I grabbed his hoodie and yanked him back like he was a badly behaved golden retriever. Not so funny now, huh? They stared at me, terrified, dazed, and, honestly, pathetic. "Pick up the bag. We're going back." I dragged them, literally dragged them, back to the store. I chucked the stolen bag of paint onto the counter. "Those 2 tricked you both. Here." The store owner glared at the actual culprits. We're sorry. We won't do it again." I turned around, headphones back on, and walked out. Unfortunately, the nerd wasn't done with me yet. "Wait! What now?" I just wanted to say thank you. What's your name?" "No need." "But can't you hear? I already said no need. If you had been able to protect yourself in the first place, you wouldn't have to thank others like this." Huh? I skated away. "Hi, I'm Finn. Technically, it's Fiona, but Fiona is way too girly for me. I've lived at St. Mary's Orphanage my whole life. I was dumped here as a baby with nothing but a note. Dear Orphanage, this is Fiona. I can't afford to raise her, so I hope the orphanage will take care of her for me. Best regards, and never meet again. Yep, no parents. Never had him, never needed him. I was adopted multiple times, by the Harringtons, the Millers, the Hopes, blah, blah, blah. But every single family sent me back. Apparently, I was too out of control. Pfft, honestly, their loss. Now I get to do whatever I want. Sneak onto rooftops, spray paint the city, skate at midnight, and eat junk food for dinner. Oh, and skipping school. Like right now. Except... Finn! I was startled and almost fell off my chair as Sister Wendy stormed into the room. Ugh, what now? Did you skip school to paint graffiti again? Graffiti is an artistic expression of... Your teacher called. This is the 5th time this month. Sister, I can't stand school. They always make me study useless subjects, like math. Math is not useless. Oh yeah? What am I gonna do if a burglar breaks into my house at 3 a.m.? Blow his mind with logarithms? Ooh, oh no, a criminal! Behold, the power of algebra! Oh, you're impossible. Listen, Finn, you're going to be out of here soon. You need to learn how to be on your own. And school helps with that? Yes, you can do a lot with a degree. Now get going. Ugh, but I knew better than to argue with Sister Wendy. She was the only one who actually cared. After school, I stopped by my favorite graffiti wall to finish my latest masterpiece, snapped a pic for my Instagram, and then Sister Wendy called. What now? I skated back to the orphanage, dreading whatever lecture awaited me. Except she wasn't mad. Instead, she just looked at me, weirdly. There's a couple inside. They want to adopt you. Again? Finn, listen to me. They're different. They're good people. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Sure it is. Then do it for me. I need to see you taken care of. Fine. Let's just get this over with. I stomped into the meeting room, ready to scare off my latest victims, only to freeze in my tracks. Wait, I knew these people. They were the Laurens, a famous artist couple. So, let me get this straight. These people, the Laurens, aka world-renowned artists, aka ridiculously rich, aka very much out of place in this musty orphanage, wanted to adopt me? Yeah, suspicious. All right, what's the scam? Scam? Nobody just wants to adopt a teenager, especially a troublemaker like me. So, what is it? Tax benefits? Free housemaid? Publicity stunt? Finn, we... Just saying! Rich people don't do things for free. We're not here for anything but you, Finn. We've been following your work for a long time. My work? Your graffiti. Excuse me? We love it. We actually follow your Instagram. Which one? At Urban Rebel Finn. Nope. Nope. My underground graffiti page? The one where I post all my murals? The one where I may or may not have publicly insulted several politicians, school authorities, and the entire New York City sanitation department? So you, what, saw my work and thought, wow, we should adopt that criminal. Not exactly. We appreciate what you do. Your art, your messages, they're raw and fearless. We admire that. Uh-huh. And instead of, I don't know, hiring me, you want to adopt me? We want you to have a home. You've been through a lot, haven't you? I felt my stomach drop. For a split second, it was like they could see right through me. All the times I'd been sent back, all the people who had used me, all the times I had tried to believe someone would actually keep me, only to be let down again. I hated it. Forget it. I'm not getting adopted. Not again. Then I stormed off, leaving them calling after me. I needed to clear my head. They don't get it. Nobody does. A famous artist couple following my work for a year? That was weird. Wait, it's them. What are they doing here? Are you stalking me now? Oh, Finn. Fancy seeing you here. This is my spot. We brought you something. If it's a please love us gift, I don't want it. Just take a look. For a second, I consider telling them to shove off. But curiosity wins. I snatch the bag and rip it open. Inside is a full set of high-end graffiti supplies. Spray paints, markers, stencils. The expensive kind. The kind I've been eyeing for months, but could never afford. Where did you get these? We own an art studio. Figured you'd like it. You think this will make me accept you? No, we just thought you'd like it. The way he says it, so casual, so certain, like it's not some grand gesture or a bribe, unsettles me. No strings attached, no expectations. Just giving me something because they wanted to. And I hate how warm that makes me feel. Ugh, you people are annoying. I kick off on my board and skate away before they can say anything else. But I keep the bag. I've always liked the rooftop. It's quiet, high above the world, with just the hum of the city in the distance. Up here, nothing feels as heavy. The Lawrence are still waiting. They're wasting their time. They're different, Finn. I know you're scared. I'm not scared. I know you've been hurt before, and I know you don't trust easily. But the Lawrence, they're kind people. They could just be faking it, like the others. I've done background research. They don't have any hidden agenda. So maybe give them a chance. Not just for them, for you. And if they ever let you down, you always have a home here. I don't say anything, but for the first time, I think about it. Well, here we go. Fine. I'll let you adopt me. Really? But 2 conditions. Name them. 1, I can return to the orphanage whenever I want. Of course. 2, you'll provide as much art stuff as I want. Done. You agreed too fast. Suspicious. We were already planning to send you to art school. Art school? You'll go with our daughter, Eve. Who is Eve? Your new sister. Yeah, this just got weirder. Car rolls to a stop, and I step out, skateboard in hand, staring up at what is definitely not a house. It's a museum with bedrooms. The driveway is cluttered with weird metal sculptures, like someone let a bunch of robots die here for the sake of art. I knew rich people live differently, but this was excessive. Welcome to your new home. More like a museum I'm not allowed to touch. You can touch everything, dear. Even that weird statue that looks like a melted giraffe. That's actually an original piece from... Yeah, I don't care. Let's get you inside. There's someone we want you to meet. Oh, great. More surprises? Love that for me. I follow them inside, stepping into what looks like an art studio the size of my entire orphanage. And sitting right in the middle of it is a girl who looks like she walked straight out of an elite boarding school brochure. Her outfit? Perfect. Her hair? Neatly tucked, like it stays that way on its own. She's working on some delicate, detailed garden scene. Finn, this is Eve, your new sister. Excuse me? Hi, Finn. It's so nice to finally meet you. Is it? I've been really excited. I've always wanted a sibling. Is something wrong? You don't look threatened. Why would I be? Because either A, they're replacing you with me, or B, you're being forced to be nice to me. What? No! Finn, dear, we're not replacing anyone. Then explain why a perfect rich family would go out of their way to adopt a problem child like me. Because we love your art, Finn. And because we wanted the house to feel fuller. That's not reassuring. Why don't you show Finn to her room? Of course. Come on, Finn. Suspicious. Eve swings the door open, and I step into what is definitely not a normal bedroom. The walls are covered in bold, chaotic splashes of color, like someone let loose with a spray can and no self-control. Shelves packed with top-tier graffiti supplies line the room, the kind I've only ever dreamed of having. I helped design it. I hope you like it. This is too nice. What? This is a trap. This is a make her feel comfortable, then spring some insane rich people rules on her situation. No! You can do whatever you want here. Even paint on the walls? Especially on the walls. Okay. Slightly less suspicious. Good. Tomorrow's your first day at school. I'll help you settle in. School? Again? You can't just skate around Brooklyn forever. Watch me. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad, but I'm still watching them. They might be nice now, but nobody stays nice forever. I've been to a lot of schools. Some boring, some strict, some that probably should have been condemned by the city. But this was the next level. Welcome to Rosewood Academy. Thanks. I hate it. You'll be fine. Let's find your homeroom. I follow Eve inside, but the second I step through the doors, something feels off. Why does this feel like the opening scene of a horror movie? That's her. The delinquent the Lawrence adopted. Oh, they're afraid of me. Nice. Finn, please don't encourage this. No promises. I was just getting used to my new villain arc when... Wait, you? Oh no. Standing right in front of me is the same posh nerd I saved at the paint store. Ugh, why are you here? I go to this school. Why are you here? Plot twist, I got adopted. By the Lawrence? Unfortunately. Oh, you two know each other? Unfortunately. Wow! Small world! Whatever. Just stay out of my way, posh boy. It's Dylan. Yeah, Finn, Dylan's great. He's super smart. Right, Dylan? Sure. Dylan suddenly looks like he just remembered a massive, overdue assignment, and Eve is inspecting her nails like they're the most fascinating thing she's ever seen. I needed air. Everything here is too perfect. The house, the people, the whole we're a loving, normal family act. The new school is weird. The new family is weird. And now, there's Dylan, the human embodiment of rich kid anxiety. What on earth did I get myself into? Just as I'm lost in thought, a sharp voice cuts through the silence. You're Finn, right? What an impolite child. Don't you know how to greet someone? A tall, lean woman stands by the garden entrance, staring at me with icy disapproval. I tilt my head, intrigued. So, there is chaos in paradise. Good. I was starting to worry this place was too polished for its own good. I don't know who you are. What gifts? Just then, the Lawrence burst into the garden, looking genuinely panicked. Finn, don't mess with her! She is... Huh? I'm Finn. Last time you saw me in part 1, I was getting dragged into a too-perfect mansion, meeting my too-perfect new family, and realizing I might actually have to attend real school again. Now, I'm standing in a very expensive backyard, getting stared down by a woman who looks like she could snap her fingers and have me banished. You're Finn, right? What an impolite child. Don't you know how to greet someone? I don't know who you are. What gives? Before she can respond, the Lawrence burst into the garden, looking genuinely panicked. Finn, don't mess with her! Turns out, this is Christine, the housekeeper/overlord of the Laurent estate. She's been here forever, practically raised Eve, and definitely thinks she runs this place. She eyes me like I'm a stain on her pristine world. This child needs discipline. Please do not fight Christine. I like you alive. Fine. So, who actually owns this place then? After surviving the housekeeper from hell, I figured school couldn't be worse. Turns out, I was wrong. A group of girls, covered in fancy brands and way too much perfume, stood in a circle, whispering just loud enough for me to hear. She looks so ugly and dirty, but she was adopted by the Laurent family. I don't get it. I immediately nodded, completely unfazed. Exactly! You guys should be avoiding me like the plague, not crowding around me like this. The group exchanged confused glances. That was not the reaction they were expecting. Your brain is broken or something? You're being called ugly and dirty, and you agree with it? My expression darkened. Killer mode activated. I stepped closer, grabbing her collar, voice dropping into something dangerously calm. Hey, ugly and dirty is my style, but my brain, crystal clear. You want to know what broken really looks like? I raised my hand, about to slap some sense into her. Before I could make contact, a hand caught my wrist. Finn, stop! I turned, annoyed, but Eve wasn't looking at me. She was glaring at the girls. Everyone has their own style. Finn's is bold and creative. You guys just copy each other. The mean girl turned pale. I let go of her collar, grinning. Maybe Eve wasn't so bad after all. So, apparently, defending myself at school wasn't as big of a scandal as I thought, because when I got home, everyone acted like normal. No lectures, no disappointed looks, just warmth. And I wasn't used to that. Mr. and Mrs. Laurent treated me like I actually belonged. They were both artists. Mr. Laurent was even a painter, so they got it. My need to create, to express myself. Instead of telling me to stop vandalizing my own bedroom walls, Mr. Laurent actually complimented my work. Nice color balance. Bold choice with the shading. Mrs. Laurent never batted an eye at my ripped hoodies or messy hair. Instead, she helped me pick out clothes that I liked when we went shopping. Wear whatever makes you comfortable, Finn. It was weird. In a good way. Of course, there was one exception. Christine. She made it very clear that she wasn't part of the Welcome Finn committee. Since I was new, she took it upon herself to teach me the household rules. Except teaching meant criticizing everything I did. If it were Eve, she would have done better. Every single day. Did it annoy me? Absolutely. But I didn't let it get to me, mostly because of Eve. Eve always had my back. Eve always spoke well of Christine, saying how thoughtful, caring, and attentive she was. All that sentimental stuff I didn't quite see, but figured Eve believed in. One day, she suggested I try giving Christine a gift. Said she might actually soften up. She might be touched, Finn. It's worth a shot. I wasn't convinced, but whatever. I grabbed a box of red strawberry macarons and handed them to Christine. She frowned. I don't like mint-flavored ones. I blinked. Mint? I stared at her, confused. Strawberry macarons weren't mint, but I shrugged it off. Not worth a headache. Turns out, being adopted by world-famous artists doesn't get you into the advanced art class. Nope. I was stuck in basic art, drowning in lectures about art history. Why did I have to memorize every single art movement when I just wanted to paint? By break, I had given up. I sat at my desk, scrolling through graffiti videos on my phone, watching artists transform gray walls into masterpieces. That's real art. No boring textbooks, no rules, just raw expressions. That's when I heard them again. Ugh, graffiti? That's not art. It's just vandalism. It's trashy. Just like you. You'll never be a real artist. I saw red. Oh yeah? Well, let me show you some trashy art. I dipped the brush into bright blue paint and splattered it all over them. And just like that, chaos. A full-blown fight breaks out. Brushes fly, paint spills, desks knock over. Then... Enough! Soon enough, my parents were called. But instead of scolding me, Mr. and Mrs. Laurent just listened. Finn, we understand. But next time, maybe aim for a canvas instead of people. Mr. Michael, surprisingly, had my back too. Finn, your passion is undeniable. But art should be your voice, not your weapon. Next time, come to me first. It wasn't a total loss, but I wasn't in the mood for class anymore. So, time to find the rooftop. I wasn't expecting company, but there he was, Dylan. Well, well, well. Posh boy skipping class. It's called strategic avoidance. We talked. Turns out he wasn't as annoying as I thought. Before I knew it, Dylan and I clicked like we'd been best friends in another life. It was too easy. The constant banter, the dramatic eye rolls, the inside jokes about our ridiculously fancy school. I wasn't used to getting along with someone this fast. Then, in the middle of our usual nonsense, Dylan playfully nudged my shoulder. Oh, so that's how we're playing now? I half raised my hand, ready to shove him back, when I caught something out of the corner of my eye. Eve. She had been walking just a step behind us, but her usual smile was gone. Her fingers twisted the strap of her bag, her eyes flickering toward Dylan, then away, like she was trying not to look. You okay, Eve? What? Oh, yeah, totally! She's probably wondering how she got stuck with the school's two biggest headaches. I laughed. Eve did too, but hers was off. I didn't have time to think much about Eve acting weird, because the school just announced an art competition. At first, I didn't care. Competitions weren't my thing. But then, they started talking. Can you imagine Finn entering? She wouldn't even make it past the first round. She probably won't even try. Not when she has to compete against real artists. Okay, that was it. I pushed off my locker and walked straight up to them. You think I wouldn't? Well, graffiti isn't real art, you know? You'd be wasting your time. I almost laughed. So, art only mattered if it was made in a fancy studio with a tiny brush? Please! These girls acted like they got to decide what counted as a real art and what didn't. Too bad for them. I wasn't the type to back down. Fine, I'll enter, and I'll use graffiti in the competition. They laughed. And when you lose, maybe you'll finally admit graffiti isn't real art. I stepped even closer. No, because I'm going to win. And when I do, you'll have to admit graffiti is art. The hallway went quiet, and their smirks disappeared. Guess they didn't expect me to push back. I left school feeling invincible, ready to prove my point. This is gonna be easy. Graffiti is art. I'll show them. At least, that's what I thought. But as I started sketching, something felt off. The lines felt stiff, like I was forcing something that should flow naturally. My usual creativity was just gone. I kept trying, sketching, erasing, starting over, but nothing looked right. What is this? This isn't me. I ripped the page out and tossed it aside, doubt creeping in. For the first time, I wasn't sure I could pull this off. Doubt still clung to me as I headed to my usual spot, the graffiti wall, hoping fresh air would clear my head. Okay, why do you look like a sad rich boy in a soap opera? Dylan let out a long sigh, running a hand through his hair. I think Eve likes me. I froze mid-step. Huh? I don't know what to do. I don't feel that way about her, but she's my friend, and I don't want to hurt her. I didn't answer right away. Suddenly, all those weird moments with Eve made sense. The way she tensed up, the way she forced those awkward smiles, the way her eyes always flickered toward him when she thought no one was looking. And now I had no idea what to say. If I were in her shoes, wouldn't I be pissed? Wouldn't it suck to like someone who didn't feel the same way? But being me, I just shrugged. Maybe tell her before she explodes? Dylan let out a dry laugh, but there was something heavy behind it. Dylan's words still lingered in my head as I got home, but I barely had time to process them before I found out something new. Eve had also entered the competition. Guess we're rivals now. Let's keep it fair and square. I expected her to laugh, but instead, she nodded, completely serious. Agreed. We'll compete fairly, not just in this competition. Wait, not just in this competition? Was she talking about Dylan? I hadn't thought about it before, but the way she said it, so seriously, made it feel like she wasn't just talking about art anymore. A week went by, and all around me, other students were busy working on their competition pieces. Meanwhile, my canvas, still blank. For the first time, graffiti didn't feel like enough, and I hated that feeling. Then, one evening, Eve glanced at me over dinner. How's your piece coming along? I shrugged, forcing a smirk. Nothing yet. I work better last minute. Total lie. I was completely stuck. Lying about my progress didn't make my art block disappear. So, one night, I snuck into the Lawrence private art studio, hoping inspiration would finally hit me. Yeah, it didn't. Nothing came. No ideas, no spark, just emptiness. Before I could fully sink into frustration, a sharp voice cut through the silence. What are you doing in here? Who let you in? What if you ruined the expensive supplies? I rolled my eyes. Perfect. Just my luck. But before I could argue, Mr. Laurent walked in. Christine, go get some rest. I'll handle this. I waited for him to scold me, but instead, he set up his own easel and started painting. What? Rich people painting ritual at midnight? It's about waiting until the art feels right. What if I can't make something that proves graffiti is art? Then stop trying to prove something. Paint something that screams you. Something clicked. I grabbed a spray can, and for the first time in weeks, I finally painted. For the next few days, I put everything into my piece. Spray paint everywhere, bold colors mixing and clashing, with hidden words scattered in the background. This is art. Rules are stupid. Freedom. It wasn't perfect, but for the first time, it felt right. Meanwhile, Eve spent more and more time alone. She redid her piece over and over, staying up late, erasing, starting fresh. Some nights, I'd catch her in her room, exhausted, staring at a blank page. Christine always brought her late-night snacks, making sure she had the energy to keep going. She wanted this badly. I just didn't know how badly until everything fell apart. The whole school was buzzing. Eve's competition entry had vanished. She stood frozen in front of her open locker, eyes wide with shock. It was right here. I don't understand. She ran her hands over the inside of the locker, as if the missing artwork would magically reappear, but it didn't. Who would even steal it? This wasn't some dumb prank. This was weeks of work, gone. Then came the whispers. Finn was at school late last night. Maybe she took it. Maybe she was scared she'd lose. I turned sharply. Are you kidding me? I could handle insults. I could handle people calling me reckless, wild, a troublemaker, but a thief? That was a different story. Ready to fire back. Then I noticed something. Eve. She wasn't saying anything. She wasn't jumping in to shut them down, to say they were wrong. She just hesitated. And that silence, that pissed me off more than their stupid rumors ever could. Hey, Finn again. Last time you saw me, I was standing in the middle of a hallway, getting accused of stealing Eve's art. And the worst part? She didn't say a word to defend me. So, yeah, I wasn't exactly in a good mood. I stormed home, fully expecting Mr. and Mrs. Laurent to doubt me too. But instead, we believe in you, Finn. Without a doubt, I froze. For the first time, I realized they trusted me completely. But across the room, Eve stood silent for a moment before quietly saying, That's easy for you to say. I stayed up so many nights working on that piece. She turned and left the room, crying. Christine hurried after her. I just stood there, not knowing what to say. But later that night, I finally decided to try. I hesitated for a second, then knocked on Eve's door, trying not to make things worse. Hey, I'll help you redo your piece. Eve didn't even look up. I don't need your help. You take everything. She looked at me, her eyes glassy, like she was holding back tears. My parents, my place in this house, and now Dylan, too? I froze. Wait, this is about Dylan? Of course you wouldn't get it. I never wanted Dylan like that. But then, a weird pang hit my chest. Why did I suddenly feel guilty? Eve's words from last night still haunted me, but I didn't have time to think about it anymore, because the next morning, the whole school was talking about me. Finn sabotaged Eve's painting. She was scared she'd lose. They suspended her from the competition. I stopped in my tracks. Suspended? Are you kidding me? Fury burned through me as I stormed toward the principal's office, ready to demand an explanation. But just as I reached the door, I heard a familiar voice inside. Dylan? What is he doing in here? Through the small window, I saw him standing in front of the principal's desk, arms crossed, voice firm. She didn't do it. You're making a mistake. The committee will investigate. If you have solid evidence, present it. Otherwise, step aside and let me do my job. So, that's it? You're just going to let them blame her without proof? Enough, son. This is out of your hands. Son? The principal's tired expression, Dylan's defiance? It all made sense now. Dylan was the principal's son. A second later, Dylan walked out, frustration all over his face. I hurried after him. Hey, thanks for standing up for me. You put too much into this to just let them take it away. Then his eyes lit up. What if you submit your piece under my name? I stopped. My frustration flipped into pure excitement. That is a genius plan! But when the excitement hadn't faded yet, Eve appeared. She stood there, her eyes flicked between us, filled with resentment. Why is everyone going out of their way to help Finn? My painting was stolen and no one cared! Then, without letting either of us say a word, she turned sharply and stormed off. But as she walked away, her foot landed on a paintbrush covered in red paint. Stupid paintbrush! Ruined my shoes! Ugh, I hate green! Wait, but that paint is red. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Eve's anger, the missing painting, the way everyone turned against me so fast, none of it added up. And with the competition deadline closing in, there was only one way to get answers. I had to find that painting. So, after school, I stayed behind, determined to search every corner of the building. I had just reached Eve's classroom when I spotted someone suspicious. Someone in a hoodie, face hidden, slipped into the classroom like they didn't want to be seen. Who sneaks into a classroom after hours? Peeking through the door, I watched as the person pulled a painting from their bag and carefully placed it on Eve's desk. Then, just as quickly as they had arrived, they slipped away. I should have run in and checked the painting, but something told me to follow them instead. My heart pounded. Who was this? Then, just as I was about to lose them, they turned a corner and led me straight to my own house. I barely had time to process that when someone else approached them. Christine! Is it done? The figure nodded. Christine pulled out a wad of cash and handed it over. Good. Now leave. I stared in shock. Christine was behind this? Before I could react, the masked figure hesitated. I still don't get it. Why go through all this trouble? Because I am Eve's mother. I know what's best for her. My mind went blank. Eve's mother? Suddenly, everything made sense. Christine's favoritism, her constant need to compare me and Eve. Then, more memories clicked. Both Christine and Eve mistook red for green. Could it be genetic? My mind was racing. Christine was Eve's mother. Did Mr. and Mrs. Laurent know about this? I rushed home, barely stopping to catch my breath. Mr. and Mrs. Laurent were sitting in the living room, calm as ever, until they saw my face. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I saw someone sneaking into Eve's classroom. They put our painting back. It was stolen. Christine ordered it. Before I could explain more, Eve appeared at the top of the stairs. Oh, so you returned it because you were afraid of getting caught, huh? And now you're blaming poor Christine? You don't have to believe me, but it's the truth. Christine is the real culprit. Christine? What are you talking about? I took a deep breath. She's your mother. What? Even Mr. and Mrs. Laurent looked completely surprised. Mr. Laurent's face tensed like he was searching for words, while Mrs. Laurent just stared between me and Eve, completely stunned. Then, finally, Mr. Laurent cleared his throat, his voice unusually careful. Eve, you were adopted. You're lying. We took you in when you were a baby, but we never knew Christine was your biological mother. I glanced at Eve, expecting her to react. Anger, denial, something, but her expression only darkened, shoulders tensing under the weight of the truth. We'll look into this, but for now, just act normal and focus on the competition. Act normal? You lied to me! My whole life! Then, without another word, she turned and ran upstairs. The next morning, I woke up to panic. Voices shouting, doors slamming, hurried footsteps. Then, I heard it. Eve was missing. The entire house was in chaos. Mr. and Mrs. Laurent spoke urgently on the phone, while staff rushed around the mansion, checking every corner. Christine was pacing back and forth, mumbling to herself, while I stood in the middle of it all, trying to process what was happening. Where would Eve go? I needed to think. I ignored the frantic energy in the house. I headed to Eve's room, hoping to find some kind of clue. I opened drawers, flipped through notebooks, nothing. But as I reached for another notebook, a sudden voice shattered the silence.
What are you doing here? In my daughter's room? Give her back to me!
Christine grabbed my arm. She was crying uncontrollably, gripping me like I had personally taken Eve away from her.
It's all my fault! My daughter, where are you? Come back to me!
Christine, let her go. Blaming Finn won't bring Eve back. She just needs time alone. We've already reported this to the police. Now, we have to wait.
You don't understand. You're not her real parents.
Wait, what did she just say? My patience ran out, and before I knew it, I snapped. They're not her birth parents, but they know her better than you ever did. And you've been living under their roof all these years, lying to their faces, and you don't even feel ashamed? Christine was stunned, but I wasn't done. You say you love Eve, but all you've done is lie to her. That's not love. It's selfish. You don't get to call herself her mother just because you showed up. Christine collapsed onto the floor, and then, through her broken cries, she admitted everything. She had been abandoned by her lover while she was pregnant. Desperate and alone, she left her baby at an orphanage, unable to care for her. Years later, she found out Eve had been adopted by the Lawrence, so she applied as a housekeeper just to stay close to her daughter, to secretly watch over her. But she never had the courage to tell the truth. She was terrified Eve would hate her. She also didn't want to disrupt the good life Eve had with her adoptive parents. And then I came along. Christine had been so afraid that Mr. and Mrs. Laurent would grow attached to me, that I would replace Eve. So she made things hard for me and ruined my reputation, hoping the Laurents would start hating me and send me away. The room fell into heavy silence. Mr. and Mrs. Laurent were speechless. Finally, Mr. Laurent sighed.
We'll deal with this later. Right now, the most important thing is finding Eve.
Christine buried her face in her hands, sobbing. And for once, I didn't have a snarky response, because I actually felt bad for her. I didn't know what else to do, so I ran. There was only one person who could help me figure this out. I reached Dylan's house and banged on his window.
Finn? It's like 6 a.m.
I didn't wait for an invitation. I climbed inside. Get up, posh boy. I need your nerd skills. Eve is missing. Dylan's sleepiness disappeared in an instant. He grabbed his laptop and started typing furiously.
If she didn't tell anyone where she went, maybe she left a clue online.
Eve? Posting, "Hey guys, I'm running away" on social media? Not happening.
Obviously not. But lucky for you, I have access to the school system.
Wait, how?
I'm the principal's son, remember? My dad keeps his login saved on our home laptop. One quick access, and boom, school system unlocked.
Pretty sure that's not legal.
Only if I get caught.
A few seconds later, his smirk faded.
Got something. Eve logged into her school account last night from home, and the last thing she searched was St. Mary's Orphanage.
We both stared at the screen, the search history sitting there like a breadcrumb trail. Of course, she didn't just run away. She went home. I skated as fast as I could, my heart pounding, the streets eerily quiet in the early morning light. And there she was, Eve, sitting on the orphanage steps, arms around her knees, staring into nothing like she'd been there all night. You picked a weird place for a meltdown, princess. I sighed and dropped down beside her, pulling my hoodie tighter around myself. After a long silence, Eve finally spoke. I should have figured it out sooner. Figured out what? That I never really belonged. Christine knew me better than my own parents did. I spent my whole life trying to be their perfect daughter, but in the end, I was just another orphan they picked up. Yeah, that's a crap feeling. What? You think I haven't been there? Feeling like a mistake? Like no matter what you do, someone's gonna send you back? But you know what? That's our decision, not theirs. You can sit here forever feeling sorry for yourself, or you can get up, go back, and make them prove they love you. And if they don't, then you and me, we leave. Find a place where nobody can throw us away. Eve finally looked at me, really looked at me. Then, slowly, she smiled. You're such a pain, Finn. You love me. Maybe. That was enough for me. I pulled out my phone and called Mr. Laurent. A short while later, the Laurents pulled up in a car, rushing out to Eve. Relief was written all over their faces. I stood off to the side, watching. Then, suddenly, Mrs. Laurent grabbed me into the hug, too. What? Oh, okay, this is happening. Christine was nowhere in sight. I glanced at Eve. So, you staying? Yeah. Good, because I wasn't about to let you leave me with Dylan. Eve came home, submitted her entry, and little by little, started acting like herself again. But Christine is different. One morning, she left without a word. No note, no goodbye, just gone. You okay? About what? Christine, it's weird. I thought I'd feel angry, but mostly I just feel relieved. Maybe she needed time to figure things out. If that's what she needs, then she can have it. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't. We just sat there, watching as the sky deepened from orange to blue. Then, out of nowhere, "You like him, don't you?" I blinked, caught off guard. "Dylan? I don't know." "You're an idiot." "You too." "I don't think I ever really wanted Dylan. I think I just wanted to feel like I mattered." A lump formed in my throat. For the first time, Eve felt like family, not competition. She gave me a small smile, and I knew she saw me the same way. After that afternoon, I found myself wandering, my thoughts still tangled, which is how I ended up here, walking through an empty hallway with Dylan. Neither of us said much. The school felt weird when it was this quiet, just the soft buzz of the vending machine and our footsteps filling the empty halls. Then I blurted, "Do you ever think about it?" Dylan shot me a glance. "Think about what?" "If we'd be a thing." Dylan paused mid-step. I just grinned, keeping my tone easy. "Not saying I want it or anything, just wondering." "You're impossible, Finn." We kept walking, neither of us saying anything more. But then, just as I thought the conversation was over, "You really don't know, huh?" I glanced at him, but he was already looking ahead, hands in his pockets, like he hadn't said anything. "You're impossible, Dylan." "Yeah, guess we both are." We didn't say anything after that, but at least I knew I wasn't the only one thinking about it.
Hi, I'm Kaylee from Washington. I might dress like a boy, but I'm actually the girliest girl you could ever meet. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. I was born with shiny blonde hair and blue eyes, just like my mom. I never met my dad, but it wasn't really a big deal. There's no need to live in some fancy castle to feel like a princess. I was already one in my mom's eyes. She always pampered me with the cutest things in the world. You could give Rapunzel a run for her money, sweetheart. But tragically, Mom left me in an accident when I was 10, and I had to move in with Selena, my mom's friend. She lived in a mansion where there were so many people dressed just like her. As soon as they saw me, they started to ooh and ah at me. "What a porcelain doll. Bet she'll win any beauty pageants. She's just too lovely to be real. Shh, Miss Sanchez here doesn't like anyone who's prettier than her daughter." Yeah, she's been in a foul mood ever since the master left for his mistress. I only caught a bit of what they said before Selena dragged me into a corner. "Sweetie, you heard them. Boys are bad news. Just look at your dad, for example, so stay away from them. Got it? And the only way to repel them is if you look more like them." Then she told me to wear contact lenses to hide my blue eyes, cut my long locks, threw away my dress collection, and bought me clothes that basically drowned me. And voila, I looked just like a teenage boy. One day, I was alone in the kitchen when I heard someone shouting, "Bring me 2 smoothies now!" I brought in 2 avocado shakes, but accidentally splashed one all over this girl's face, turning her into Shrek. "Watch what you're doing! My daughter's angel face is destined to be Miss USA! How dare you!" I'm sorry, ma'am. Relax, Mom. Avocado face masks are all the rage anyway. Sadly, I still had to take my punishment, but suddenly the girl walked towards me. "Hey, I'm Beatrix. Let's go and play." "But Don't worry, I'm here. My mom won't punish you anymore." Then she took me to her room. Wow, she even has a castle inside? Beatrix then put some wigs and makeup on me. I looked at myself in the mirror, and memories of my mom came rushing back. I quickly pulled out the photo of her that I carried with me all the time. We looked so alike. I was about to take my lenses out when Selena stormed in and dragged me back to my room. "Don't you ever let me catch you here again! And keep your distance from Little Mistress! We're not from the same world as people like them, remember that?" But little did Selena know, Beatrix had just asked her mom to allow me to go to school with her. And ever since then, we've been literally inseparable. I mean literally. She clinged to me from living room to kitchen, from home to school. Honestly, the only time I could have a moment of peace was when I went to the restroom. Phew. Oh, maybe not. And each time we hung out was more than torture. I had to fight against the urge to act girly, hit my own hands whenever they started to reach for those pretty things, and now they ended up swollen. Think I'll glue them in my pockets next time. Then, one day, I arrived at school to the most terrible news ever. Kaylee, one of our female rugby players, got injured, so I put you on the team. What on earth? I don't even know what rugby is. Here's Austin, your rugby coach. If you need anything, he's your guy. You know him? He might be handsome, but something about him screams bad news. People call him Awful Austin. You better watch out. And she wasn't exaggerating at all. On the very first day, he already pushed me to my absolute limits in training, that I almost passed out. In the agility ladder exercises, I got my feet tangled up in the line and fell to the ground. But instead of a hand, all I got was his soulless look. Then one time, I missed the ball, causing it to hit another player.
Hey, is this a joke to you? Do it properly.
Keeping all Celine's words in mind, I zipped my mouth up and ignored him, who was definitely a boy.
Oi, what's the attitude? You're bringing the whole team down. See? Cat got your tongue? Faking dumb doesn't work here. From tomorrow, extra training, no excuses.
Beatrix was right. He was a devil. I was dragging my aching body home after training when I noticed a cute cat and stopped to pet it. The cat ran away, so I followed it and ended up at the back gate of the school, which was totally off limits. I've never been here before. Whoa, look at this beautiful mural. It's so mesmerizing.
What you doing here?
Awful Austin? Anyway, did you paint this? It's amazing.
Of course not. Stop prying.
He was such a terrible liar. But to be honest, I didn't expect some jock like him to be interested in art, let alone actually be good at it.
What are you two doing here? Don't move!
Oh no, the guard has spotted us. Austin immediately grabbed my hands and started running. We hid in a small alley, and he pressed me against the wall with his strong arms. My heart was racing like crazy, and I could feel his too. We were so close that our faces were only inches apart, and the warmth of his breath made me blush even more, so I accidentally let out a squeal. Thankfully, before things could get any more awkward, the guard was gone.
Don't even think of breathing a single word about this.
Weirdly, this time his words didn't hurt at all. Maybe because I knew, beneath his tough jock exterior, he had his own secret, just like me. I like your painting, so no need to hide it. Austin stopped for a bit, then kept walking, but I'm sure I caught a smile. After that day, he started to behave quite differently, more gently. He no longer went berserk at me, but helped me get through the training instead so I could catch up with the other players. I just had my first successful kick. Yay! I turned around to cheer with Austin, but out of nowhere, the ball came hurtling right at me, and he instantly caught it with one hand, while the other held me by the waist. Okay, that was awkward. This week, there'd be a senior prom at school, and Beatrix insisted we go. Of course, I gave her a no, but she was literally a leech, so I had no other choice. Wear this, Kay. It's a matching set. It'll be so lame if I wear this alone, please. Fine, but only 'cause you've given me no choice. Yay! Love ya! Eek! Wow, it smelled so good. What if I put it on? But wait, what about Selena? Forget it. It's not like she'll be at the prom. YOLO! I stepped into the ballroom with this gorgeous outfit on, my blue eyes, and the necklace my mom gave me. Everyone jaw-dropped as soon as they saw me, and that's when I noticed Austin coming towards me.
Hey, you look different tonight. I mean in a good way. Wanna dance?
Sorry, girls' time. Kaylee, look at the tasty food corner. Told you we had to come here. Oh, Beatrix, my friend here is starving. Can you show him where to grab a bite? Wow, sure, handsome. We have cupcakes, biscuits, and even brownies.
Isn't this called choosing boys over friends?
Good for her, anyway. Then Austin gently led me in the waltz. He looked exactly like a prince from a fairy tale. As we fell in step, letting the rhythm control our movements, I felt my whole body tingle. The sparks were definitely flying. But suddenly, the music changed into trance. We looked into each other's eyes for a second, then, hand in hand, ran across the crowd until we got outside.
I could never imagine a tomboy could become like this.
Actually, I'm not a tomboy.
What do you mean?
That's when I decided to tell him everything about how I was obsessed with girly things, but had to suppress it all my life. It felt so good to let it all out after burying it the whole time. And Austin was such a good listener.
Wow, Kaylee, I'm so sorry. Actually, I've also had to hide my passion for arts to help my father's business too. So what you said to me the other day really opened up something in me.
So things were not easy for him either, huh? Suddenly, he pulled out a sketchbook and started drawing me.
I wish this moment would last forever.
His face then went all serious, but not in a cold way as usual, but instead beaming with passion. Our eyes met, and I thought my heart was going to jump out of my chest. And yes, I hoped this moment would last forever too. Then suddenly, he leaned closer to fix my hair. I was ready for a kiss. Then, Kaylee! Selena? How did she find out about this? Man, you know what's coming next. I can't believe you'd be this reckless. You're not my mom, and not every boy is like my dad. You were wrong. Mind your manners. Get changed now. Right then, Mrs. Sanchez came to interrupt us. Hang on. Are her eyes blue? And what's this? Don't mind her. I bought this half price at the swap meet, ma'am. Then she signaled for me to flee the scene. If Mom were here, she'd understand the way I feel. Blinking back tears, I suddenly felt a warm hand on my shoulder. Are you alright? I saw you leave with Austin. Did he cut your hair? It looks shorter. I'm okay, Beatrix. Oh wow, I have a similar necklace that my dad gave to me. This was from my dad too, except that I don't actually know who he is. Maybe your dad is my dad? 0 for the joke, Beatrix. Oh, but why did Selena lie about the necklace to Miss Sanchez? So I went to find Selena right after, and she told me the most shocking thing ever. Beatrix's dad, the former master here, was actually my dad. He seduced Mom, who used to be a maid here too. When Mrs. Sanchez found out, both of them were kicked out of the house. Then knowing Mom was having me, he dumped her right away. Selena was afraid Mrs. Sanchez could see Mom in me, and so she had to force me to disguise myself. Wow, this was seriously messed up. Keep your identity a secret by all means or we're doomed. Understand? I was in complete shock, but I knew I had to be more careful from then on. For the whole week after, Mrs. Sanchez seemed to be in a good mood. One day, she even asked me to go shopping with her. But a wedding dress studio? Is there a wedding coming, ma'am? Yes, and it's yours, you filth! You have to pay for your mom's karma for stealing my husband! So, she knew everything? I tried to bolt away, but immediately got caught. Then she took me to this luxurious house, and guess who I met?
Kaylee, what are you doing here?
Austin? What? What do you want? I was still bewildered when a man pushed a boy in a wheelchair into the living room. Hi, Mr. Fisher. About our arrangement. This is the bride here. She and Ivan here will make the perfect couple. Hope you like this gift as my thanks for your favor. My blessings for the marriage and your family.
Dad, what is she talking about? Ivan will get married to this girl. I've already settled everything so that Ivan can have a bright future without worrying about anything. Excuse me? I've had to put aside my art dream to enroll in business school, as you wished, and now you want to control my brother's life too? I object to this marriage, because I love her!
Then he pulled me away, leaving Mr. Fisher frozen in shock.
Kaylee, I'm so sorry you had to meet my dad in such an awful way. I promise to never let anyone treat you like this again.
No worries. I have to thank you instead. Your words really woke up the courage in me. Austin offered to help me talk things out, but it's time for me to fight for my own good. I came back home to see Mrs. Sanchez flying into a rage. How dare you bring your face back into this house? You cruel woman! I will not marry someone else just to pay off your debt! Right at that moment, Selena walked in, and she literally turned into a bull. How dare you do that to my child! I had to stop her from lunging towards Mrs. Sanchez. So how about what you all have done to me? Do you know what I've been through all these years? Her mom stole my husband, and you just expect me to put it aside? Then she collapsed and burst into tears. Suddenly, I felt bad for her. I'm sorry for everything that happened to you, but it doesn't mean you have to punish yourself with it, or grant yourself the right to dictate others like that.
She owes you nothing, and you have no right to control others' lives.
Right after that, Selena and I packed our stuff and left the house. Walking through that door, we felt more free than ever before. After all that drama, it took us some time to get our lives back on track. From all the money Selena had saved working as a maid, she was able to open her own bakery and take back control of our lives. And so do I. Finally, I'm back to my princess style. But after all those craziest things happened, something never changed. Oh my god, we're half-sisters! Yay! My mom said she felt so guilty about what happened, but asked me to keep it a secret. Oops. And about that guy, you ask? He worked things out with his dad, and guess what? He's in art school now.
Okay, now tilt your head to the right. Yeah, like that. Gosh, that dress makes you look like a fairy princess.
Who dare to make a princess stay still like a statue for more than 1 hour? Huh? The charming artist?
Shh, it's almost done. I beg your pardon.
Hi, I'm George. I know it might sound like a boy's name, but I'm actually a girl. It all started with my brother Harry back before I was even born. Sadly, he died in a car accident at the age of 3. Then, 2 years after the accident, my mom fell pregnant with me. Both of my parents longed to have a little boy to fill the gap that Harry had left them with.
So when I was born a girl, I imagine my parents must have been distraught. They christened me George Harry Hastings. Thinking back on it now, I always had boys' toys like action figures and water pistols. My parents never put me in pretty dresses or skirts. In fact, in all the pictures of me as a little kid, I'm in Harry's old clothes. They also cut my hair short, like a boy's. I guess friends and family found my parents' behavior odd, as before I turned 2, we moved far away from everyone. I was homeschooled during preschool and primary school. My house was my whole world. I had pirate-themed wallpaper, even though I much preferred mermaids. At that point, I really thought I was a boy, and not even confused about gender differences. Sometimes, the neighbor's son would come around for playdates. When I showed him my pirate ship collection, he told me that his little sister had a baby doll collection, and she was so obsessed with it. He told me about all the doll's accessories, all the clothes that would be changed every 15 minutes, all the hairstyles that might take hours to be done. He thought girls were gross, but I was like hypnotized hearing about that. I loved everything she did more than any boring pirate ship that I got. But when I told my parents, my mom instantly got upset. My dad got seriously angry and told me that boys would never be allowed to play with stuff like that. From then on, whenever that boy came around, I had to try my best to act like I thought boys should, and told him I thought girls were gross. Mom overheard me telling him that girls stank. She gave me the biggest smile. I was pleased that I made her happy. One time, this boy and I were floating pirate ships in the bathtub when he said he needed to pee. The toilet was right beside the bathtub, so I could see him. Well, I didn't want to. It was just something out of the corner of my eye that made me notice. The way he did it was so weird. He didn't sit down, but he pulled something out of his pants. I was so confused, so I asked my dad. That was when I found out the truth. He sat me down and said, "That's how boys actually do it in that situation. You and him are different. Yes, you're a girl, so don't ever share a bathroom with anyone." He then explained that my mom found it hard to deal with my brother's death, especially as when I was born, I reminded them of Harry. So I'm basically living in the shadow of my dead brother to please their feelings. When I was 12, my parents had no choice but to send me to middle school as they didn't approve the homeschool application. The morning of my first day at school, Dad dropped me off. Before I stepped out of the car, he said, "You can't tell anyone you're a girl. Or else." I was already terrified about pretending to be a boy in front of all my new classmates without having Dad threaten me too. "I won't," I told him. "Good, George," he sighed. "Your mom needs this. She wouldn't cope with losing her son again." On my first day at school, I had no idea how my parents could fake this, but no one knew I was really a girl. Even my teacher called me her boy and gave me male school uniforms. I made friends with a boy named Darren, and it wasn't long before we became pretty much inseparable. Being around him made me feel like a boy. Yeah, at times it was tricky, especially in the restrooms and changing rooms. I obviously couldn't use the urinals, and I always got changed in a cubicle so I didn't have to undress in front of the other boys. I made up some excuse that I had a skin condition and didn't want the other kids to see it. None of the other kids ever said anything bad about this, as they knew Darren would get mad at them. My skin condition excuse got me out of swimming, too. Thankfully. The years passed, and the lie became harder to keep. My breasts began to develop, and although I'm a small-built girl, they became noticeable. I had to wrap bandages around my chest to hide them. It could cause restricted breathing sometimes, so my dad told my teacher that I had heart disease and couldn't attend any physical activity at school, which made me even sadder. Now, at 13, I know I can't do this anymore. I still continued to live the lie, but each day was harder than the last. I decided that I was going to tell my parents how I felt. But then I walked into the kitchen to find Mom looking through old photo albums of Harry. "Oh, hello, Harry. You looked lovely in this picture." She held up a picture of him surrounded by toys. "Mom, I'm not Harry. I'm George, remember?" No, you're my beautiful Harry." She hugged me tightly and began to stroke my hair. Dad walked in, and Mom continued calling me Harry and telling Dad how handsome I was. Dad looked worried. He gently pried her off me and led her upstairs. Dad told me that I needed to do a better job of being a boy, else Mom would be so distraught that the shock would kill her. I don't think Mom's very well, and she hasn't been for a long time. All I ever wanted to do was make her happy, but pretending to be a boy when I'm a girl is making me miserable. Even worse, the more time I spend with Darren, the more I realize that I have the biggest crush on him. I think about him all the time, and I daydream about what it'd be like if he saw me as a girl and we were a proper couple. I really need your help, as I don't know what to do. I know I can't carry on like this for much longer, but I don't want my parents to hate me. Should I continue with the lie to please my parents, or should I break their hearts and confess to them that I can't keep up the lie anymore, and that I want everyone to know that I'm actually a